So let's read question 3. Phosphorus is a mineral that is essential to a whole range of metabolic processes as well as bone stiffening. So what we are measuring in this problem is levels of inorganic phosphorus in the blood. Okay. So when you read a question, it's always important to pay attention to exactly what we are measuring. And that is labeled X. X is the name of the variable. The variable here is levels of inorganic phosphorus in the blood. And it is known to vary, so it's a variable, we call it X, among adults normally with standard deviation. So it's a normally distributed variable X with standard deviation 0.01. So let's note down number 0.01 millimoles per liter. Now, what exactly is this number? It says standard deviation, but the question is it sigma, which is the population standard deviation, or is it S, which is the sample standard deviation? Now, clearly, based on the context here, we are not referring to a sample. We haven't said that we've collected a sample and then the standard deviation is 0.01. The question clearly does not say that. The question says the levels of inorganic phosphorus in the blood are known to vary among adults normally, which means the measurement is normally distributed with standard deviation 0.1. I'm sorry, not 0.01, but 0.1 millimoles per liter. So here we are generally speaking talking about the larger population of measurements. So we're talking about the population of measurements. So therefore, when in that context, the standard deviation 0.1 refers to the population standard deviation. So population standard deviation is sigma. Now, this is a very important number because based on whether sigma is given or not given, we use the Z or T procedures. So if sigma is given, then we use the Z procedure, which is chapter 14. And if sigma is not given, then we use the T procedures, which is chapter 17. So this is a very important thing to note. Is sigma given or not given? And whether it's sigma or S, which is the sample standard deviation, depends on the context of that particular situation. Now the next sentence says, a study was conceived to examine inorganic phosphorus blood levels in older individuals. Here are data from a retrospective chart for 12 men and women. So why is that number 12 important? Because clearly from that sentence, we have taken a sample of 12 men and women in the age group of 75 through 79. So the number 12 is really N. And what is N? N is the sample size. So as you read the question, make sure you're making note of these numbers along with the symbols, because your formula eventually will be in the form of symbols, and all you have to do is plug in these symbols or the numbers related to these symbols into the formula and you're done. And the question obviously here, it's highlighted. It says estimate the phosphorus levels. So when it says estimate, make an estimate of the phosphorus levels, this is how it's interpreted. It's basically asking us to estimate mu, which is the mean or the average phosphorus levels of the population. You always estimate mu, because you don't have to estimate the mean of the sample, because we can get the exact number. So the next thing is finding Z star. How do you find Z star? Z star is obtained from table C, and my previous video shows you how to locate Z star for a particular, whether it's a 90% or a 95% that you're using, which is called the confidence level. Related corresponding Z stars related to the confidence level can be obtained from table C. Now, when you look at this formula here, that's your formula for confidence interval, X bar plus or minus margin of error. So we know Z star, we know sigma, we know N. What exactly is X bar? As long as you know that X bar is the sample mean or mean of the sample, then you will clearly be either able to figure it out using the numbers that are given, enter these numbers into your calculator, and you should be able to find the sample mean. Mean is the average. Use the statistical function of your calculator to find X bar. And once you get X bar, Z star, sigma, and radical N, you know X bar is the sample mean. You can calculate the margin of error, which is Z star, sigma, over radical N. And once you do the addition and subtraction, you get the two endpoints of the confidence interval. All you need to do is plug in the numbers into your calculator. Now note that in this problem, we were not given the sample mean. So the mean of the sample was not given. We were given the actual raw data, and we used the raw data to find X bar. But sometimes in the words somewhere, X bar is also given. So you got to read the question carefully and figure out whether X bar is given or is the data given from which you can calculate X bar.